Okay, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today for our special edition coffee hour. Today, we are being joined by Julie Kallenberger and Dave Anderson, and they will be presenting on the Colorado Natural Heritage Program Statewide Natural Heritage Survey and how conservation districts can be involved. Thank you so much for joining us, Julie and Dave.
Great. Thanks, Raquel. Can everybody hear me okay? And see my slides?
Perfect.
See our
Perfect.
slides? Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for this opportunity. I have a love for the Conservation District community. I actually worked at my first job in conservation was at the West Greeley Conservation District in 2006. And so I was there for a couple years and had the privilege of working with several NRCS staff and a great staff at the Conservation District. So it's fun to make an appearance about 20 years later. So thanks for having us. Like Raquel said, my name is Julie Kallenberger, and I serve as the Communications and Outreach Specialist for the Colorado Natural Heritage Program at CSU. And I also have my colleague here, Dave Anderson. Dave, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hello, I'm David Anderson, and I'm the director at the Colorado Natural Heritage Program.
Great. Well, we're really happy to be here today, and we're going to walk through a couple slides and talk about the program that we are wanting to share more information about with you today. And at any point, if you have a question, please drop it in the chat or unmute yourself and feel free to answer. We want to make this as informal as possible. We just have a handful of slides that we'll go through, and then we can open it up for discussion afterwards or as we go. So I will pass it to you, Dave. I think you're going to start us off by talking a little bit about CNHP.
Sure. Yeah, thanks, Julie. And we thought we should just give you a quick overview of what our program is. Our mission is to advance the conservation of Colorado's native species and ecosystems through science, planning, and education for the benefit of current and future generations. So we've been around for quite a long time. We started in 1979. We've been at CSU since 1994. We work in an entirely, very much like the CDs, in an entirely collaborative space, helping to support decisions by landowners, agencies, and practitioners, as well as industry. And we do that by tracking the locations and status of plants, animals, and habitats, and providing the science foundation that people need in order to make really sound decisions based on the information that's available. And we have grown quite a bit over the last couple of years. We've gotten up over 50 people on our sort of permanent staff. In the summers, with all of our technicians and interns, we went up to about 130 last summer. And so we are a non-academic department here at Colorado State University in the Warner College of Natural Resources. And we're also Colorado's constituent member of a global network called the NatureServe Network. So every state has a program like ours. And so we represent Colorado and keep track of the biodiversity of Colorado as our role in that big network. And we do all of that as a soft-funded organization. We're supported entirely with grants, agreements, and donations. It's worth also mentioning that being at CSU is awesome because we're so connected to the land grant mission of the university and extension, and through those conduits can really work with landowners and work with you. We can get students involved very easily. I'm meeting with a group of 10 of them tomorrow to get started on a project. So the CSU is a good home for us here. So we wanted to just tell you about this project we have that we're really excited about, and it involves connecting with with folks in your districts and you and really everybody across Colorado. So this statewide natural heritage survey project that we're invited to join you here in this coffee hour to talk about is an expansive project that's going to level up the natural heritage data of Colorado. We're trying to bring equity for everybody in their level of understanding of our natural heritage, which includes um, all of our species and habitats. So we have targeted surveys that we're going to do with willing landowners to map the rare species and habitats to help the landowners and the state plan on their behalf. We're engaging community scientists in doing this. We're really excited to be connecting with a lot of community science partners across the state in order to do this. And another important dimension of this is our connection with tribes. We are going to work closely with them to kind of empower them to collect their own natural heritage data and to provide data to them to help them make their own decisions about conservation. We're collaborating extensively with the regional partnerships, and I don't know if you all are familiar with those. They're local organizations that are getting stood up now as part of the regional partnership initiative that was launched with an executive order recently. And so they are really important partners with us, along with land trusts and other conservation partners connecting with communities and landowners. And that includes you. That's why we're here today. And we're going to share data in the Codex application that we'll give you a quick overview of. And we're also going to build a dashboard where Coloradans can access all of that information. So, okay.
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dave.
So, yeah. So far, we've come a long way. We started this in the spring of 2024. Since then, we've surveyed 25 counties. This coming year in 2026, our field season priorities includes 19 counties. And then in 2027, we're doing the last 20 of them. And that includes working on tribal lands or with tribes on any lands that they're interested in. And that includes the Bruno area. We're engaging the community scientists, especially the Great Old Broads for Wilderness and Colorado Native Plant Society. They've actually been organizing groups to help find targets for the Statewide Natural Heritage Survey. And we're as I mentioned before, we're connecting with partners across the state that are organized in favorable ways to help out with this. So the regional partnerships are a really important one. And so is Keep It Colorado. So they're the organization that all of the certified land trusts in Colorado are members of. And they're helping us to connect with private landowners. And Julie's going to talk about how that works. And of course, Colorado Parks and Wildlife, CSU Extension, NRCS, Bird Conservancy of the Rockies, and the Conservation District staff and board members. So with each one of these organizations, we have a sort of different flavor of partnership in the collection of these data. We've developed a 5-year tribal engagement work plan, and that's connected to Colorado's outdoors strategy and the tribal engagement kind of strategy that's included in that plan. And we're leveraging projects across the state to help us accomplish this wall-to-wall survey of the state. And those include a CPW-funded prairie dog mapping project, We did a bio blitz last summer with the city of Louisville. We've been doing surveys of the Comanche National Grassland. We also just did a survey of the Amache National Historic Site in southeastern Colorado. And we have a county partner, Adams County, that's going to kick in some funding to help us survey that county. Conducting a survey of EPA wetlands all up and down the Front Range that is focused on kind of urban wetlands that are proximal to our largest population centers in Colorado. And there's many others too. So yeah, in the last, something we're really excited about and we're gonna be launching this spring is a dashboard of the data and progress on this project. We have a prototype that we're working on now, and we're going to launch that really soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah.
So I'll talk a little bit about where we're surveying at across the state. David mentioned that we surveyed the 25 counties in the past 2 years, and you can see those here on the screen. Those are the ones with the diagonal hatch marks. And then you can see the green colored shaded counties are the ones we're visiting in 2026. And then the gold are what we're covering in 2027, along with the tribal lands down in the southwest corner of the state. And so we'll touch all 64 counties between 2024 and 2027. And then the final season of our project is in 2028. And we'll use that time to go back to any areas of the state that we feel that we didn't have the opportunity to explore as much as we wanted to. And keeping in mind, we all know Colorado is a very big state, so we'll probably, hopefully, be able to continue this work into the future well past 2028 field season. And so, but that's our plan of where we're visiting, and our partners here that we're working with the regional partnerships that Dave mentioned are listed here in the legend on the right-hand side. And we're working with all the regional partnerships. I believe there's about 23 right now, 22 right now total, but these ones listed here are the ones for the coming years. And so you get a flavor of where those are located throughout the state. And we can show you a map on that if you're interested, or drop a link in the website to that specific map. But these regional partnerships are really geared to work with local authorities and local organizations to bring conservation and outdoor recreation to the forefront at a local level. So I'm not sure if any of you are working with your regional partnerships. Not every county has one, but I'd be curious maybe at the end if you guys would share if you're working with a regional partnership in your area or not. Then I'll talk a little bit about why we're here today. So a lot of the work that this project includes is on private land. Our hope is to be accessing private land. It covers a majority of the state. And so this is a really important audience for working with and collecting data. We also work on public lands, but we have not traditionally done a lot of private lands work in the past. And so we're really relying on our partners that Dave mentioned in the beginning, and especially folks like you to help us make connections with private landowners who would be interested in having our team of biologists visit their land to do a biological survey. And so one of the major partnerships that we've embarked on this year is with Keep It Colorado that Dave mentioned earlier. And we're working with the land trust community directly on those parcels of land that they hold in partnership with with the private landowner to do these surveys. But we realize there's a lot of unconserved land throughout the state, and we want to work with partners like you and NRCS and Extension to connect with those landowners who would be interested in having us. And so a survey might include somebody from our botany team or from our wetlands team or both, or maybe our entomologists might join. It really depends on the parcel of land and the characteristics of the land and what the landowners also looking for. So we will work with them if someone's interested and help create what that survey opportunity looks like. And we're primarily, like Dave mentioned, focused on rare plants, animals, and habitats and communities. See. Well, maybe I'll just, oops, sorry, my slides. I went a little too far, but we just want to make sure that the message is that we are only working with willing landowners and that this is really geared to help them make management decisions about their property and how they can continue to be the good stewards of their land. We get a lot of questions about what it's like to have our team visit and what that data is used for. And we really want that data to be used for the landowner and local communities, if they so wish, to make decisions around management, whether that's conservation or recreation or just outdoor strategies that they're looking to implement. So we do work with the individual landowner, but also at the community level too, as appropriate. I think before we go onto the next slide, I think Dave would like to give a few words about this mapping tool that we've developed here at CNHP called Codex. So Dave, I'll let you speak a little bit about the Codex tool and how that will could be a tool for the conservation districts.
Okay, sure. We wanted you all to be cognizant of this. It's one of the important ways that we're going to be sharing the data and information that come out of the Statewide Natural Heritage Survey. And it's a free mapping and reporting tool that you can sign up for and use for free. And you start with setting up an account with us. And then in that account, it'll save all of your searches, and you can set it up to be customized to what you want to come back and use the tool over and over again for. It's become Colorado's comprehensive platform for accessing and synthesizing conservation data from our program, and importantly from Colorado Parks and Wildlife. And there's about 30 other partners who are collaborating with us to share data within this tool. And those include Bird Conservancy of the Rockies, the feds like Fish and Wildlife Service, and many data layers created by NatureServe are also accessible through Codex. Within the tool, you can submit projects for kind of preliminary conservation review to receive a report that you can use for that purpose. You can download planning information from reports that you generate within the tool, create your own customized maps, and conduct ecological and conservation analyses. And excuse me, everybody's sneezing on this call this morning. One of the things that I love so much about Codex is that you can be all thumbs and GIS like me, and you can still use it. You don't need to have any GIS skills to easily use this tool. So we really want this to be a tool in your toolbox that you can bring to bear with any conversations you're having with landowners or evaluating projects that you're helping to support. So we're very happy to give trainings in this tool. We do that all the time. We've done trainings for a whole bunch of the regional partnerships already. We'd love to do one for your conservation district too. So please just reach out to Julie or me. We'll get you set up with that. And happy to kind of dig in more in this tool if you're interested in using it. Another important word about it is that it emerged. We got this launched in 2021. It was sort of envisioned through a working group that we did in partnership with Colorado Parks and Wildlife. And this thing is designed to solve a horrible problem we were all having in the state, where everybody had their own little piles of GIS data, and they were curating their own little museums of data, of GIS data, and then they were making decisions based on those data, which weren't necessarily the most current or the most comprehensive data that is available in the state. So working with CPW, we brought all of those, the most current data together and put them in one place so that there's a one-stop shop. So CPW's like species activity maps are in there. Data from the SWAP is in there, the State Wildlife Action Plan, and a bunch of other products like the connectivity and habitat quality model that we just developed with CPW. So I could go on and on about Codex, but I'll pass it back to Julie and just invite you to stay in touch with us and contact us if you want to get a deep dive training in it.
Great. Yeah, so we'll just wrap up here by mentioning the many, many folks that we're working with, the organizations that have made the work that we're doing on the statewide survey possible. And so you can see here, there's quite an array of people, and we're very excited to work with all of these individuals and teams. And we would love to be able to partner with your conservation district, CDA as a whole, to help bring this project to fruition. And so, like we said earlier, this is we have a long-term vision for this work. Even though our funding is only for the next few years, the hope is that this work continues. We've invested a lot of staff and expertise, and we've done a lot of building, behind the scenes building, to improve these data tools and our communications with our partners and our relationships with landowners and partners. So we really hope this does continue. This isn't the only conversation we hope we're having with you, and that this is just the beginning. But you can see here that we are working with lots of folks to make this all possible. We know that's how we get things done in this day and age, for sure. So I will just close by saying there's more information about the project on our website. We're continuing to build that out, especially if you have something that you would be interested in maybe engaging some community scientists with. We have trainings on that as well. You can find information on that on our website. But if you do have landowners that you're interested in connecting us with, please put them in touch with me directly, or if you could facilitate an introduction, that would be great. Another opportunity is for us to work with you if you're so interested and share some of the priority lists that our biologists have identified, and then we can see if you recognize names and can put us in touch. We do find that our most beneficial connections come from partners like you, versus just picking up the phone and cold calling somebody. We do have some information that's publicly available, but we don't have emails and phone numbers or the relationships that you do with your constituents. So yeah, we would be interested in continuing that conversation with you if you are interested in doing so. But I'll leave it at that, and we'll be sharing this recording out for you to reference, or for those that could be here today as well. But we're happy to entertain any questions you might have. We'll just open it up to that right now, if that's okay with you, Raquel.
Yeah, totally. Does anybody have any questions? I was thinking too, as the districts like gear up for like watershed meetings or annual meetings, anything like that, like they could have maybe invite you guys to come speak too and present on this as well.
Yeah, we're always happy to give a presentation and to share the work that we're doing. And so yeah, if there's an opportunity for us to come and talk more with your particular groups, we're happy to do so.
Yeah, we could come to a district and do a pretty granular unpacking of what we're doing there. We've identified across the state the priority landscapes for where we think that there's the highest chance of finding interesting stuff, or where we have old information that needs to be updated. And we'd love to come visit a district and look at that with them and get their input, because you are truly the experts in your area. You know that land better than anybody, and we want to sort of harness your knowledge to create the best picture possible we can of our state and the wonderful um, sort of natural heritage that is protected within our private lands across the state, and really celebrating that and helping people um, achieve their goals for that. So yes, please, give us a call and we'll come out.
Yeah, and we even talked about future conferences when you guys have your CACD conference, annual conference. I think this fall or your next one, the timing wasn't ideal. I think when we looked at that in original planning call ahead of this coffee hour, but I think maybe in 2027. We could revisit that, and that would be a good opportunity to maybe do some sort of workshop, dive into things a little bit deeper. We could offer some trainings if people are interested in that deeper dive. So yeah, there's a lot of opportunity there. And now that we're a couple of years underway into the project, we have a lot more tools available to us to make that worthwhile. Um, I see there's a chat question from Turkey Creek Conservation District about the opportunity to connect more with the cultural history part. For example, History Colorado and historic ranch generations living in the area. Dave, do you want to respond to that first, and then I can add to
Yes,
it?
I have some info about that. So we've just met with Holly Norton, the director of History Colorado, and she's really excited to partner with us on this project. Um, the cultural heritage piece is a totally separate thing from the natural heritage piece, but they intersect in some pretty interesting ways in some places. We're really interested in some plants that were transported as food plants or medicinal plants by Native Americans long ago, and we know where the populations of some of those plants are, and we know they tell an important cultural heritage story for our state that's kind of runs parallel to the natural heritage story. So we hatched plans to figure out how we might um, collaborate in visiting properties if people are interested. This is in the we drank coffee together and talked about this and thought it was a really cool idea stage rather than in the stage of, okay, we've got the calendars out and we're actually figuring out how to do this. But we really want to do that. We've worked a lot with anthropologists over the years. There's some great ones at CSU. Some of these sites that we've worked on are just as important from a cultural heritage perspective as they are from a natural heritage perspective. Um, the one that comes to mind there is the J.E. Canyon Ranch, um, that's down in Los Animas County. So, um, so yeah, that is something we really want to do, and if you and would love to communicate with you about that.
Yeah, and I'll just add that my role was created as part of this project. And part of that work is helping tell the story. And part of that story is that connection to the land and to the ranching community and the history, and really honoring that and tying that together with our natural biodiversity history. And so we do have an opportunity through the work that I do to help tell that story. And we've done a little bit of that in my first year in my role, but that's definitely something that we would love to do more and help get those stories out there through different ways, whether that's videos or articles or photograph stories. We have a lot of different options, but yeah, that's definitely part of why my role was created and funded through this work.
Yeah,
I'm just,
thanks, Turkey Creek. Yeah, we'd
mhm.
love, yeah, we'd love to communicate with you about that.
Yeah, and thank you. I noticed that your note about your experience with this type of work, that would be great. We'd love to get your contact information from Raquel afterwards and have some follow-up. That'd be great.
Perfect. Yeah, I can just pass that along.
You
Does
know,
any,
I'm
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I meant to do this early in the call and I failed to do so, but I was just kind of curious since it is a small group. I wanted to understand who was in this space. Are you mainly staff? Are you board members? Are you a mix? I wasn't quite sure who was going to be joining today, so I wanted to ask that and get a sense.
Well, I can tell you, there is a couple of our staff in here. And then I do see, district employees, a couple of those as well. Mostly the coffee hour participants are the district employees.
Okay, great. Okay, wonderful.
Yeah. And when I share it out, I'll share it with all of the districts. So all 74, and I'll share it with our board. I'll share
Great.
it with our partners at CACD. I'll share the recording with everyone. If you want me to share the slides, I can do that also, but I'll
Yes,
also
please.
share your information. And then, like I'll also, put a little plug about reaching out to you guys. Um, and then I'll share Turkey Creek's information with you.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Are there any other questions?
All right. Well, I'm going to stop recording.